Hi guys, you are welcome back to Physique Fashion House channel. My name is Fola. We are glad to have you here again. We are grateful for as many that has been subscribing to this channel. And if you are yet to subscribe, do well to subscribe today. Thank you. So today I'll be teaching you how to cut a palazzo trouser. So let's go. I'm having my basic pattern drafting on this my fabric, and here we have 41 inches as the length of our trouser, and 2 inches is included for our hemline. This is the waistline, and this is the hip line, 7 inches, and this is as our hip line is 7 inches, be reminded that band has not been included. Our band will be cut separately, so that is why it is 7 inches. If you want your band to be included, that is 2 inches. Your hip might be 9 inches, but this one is the band is will be cut separately. So we have 9.5 inches here as our crotch line, and to get your crotch line, you divide the hip measurements of your clients. The hip measurements I'm working with here is 38, so I divide it with 4. If you divide 38 by 4, it gives you 9.5. That's how I get my crotch line. So 21 inches is my nail line. So let's go. Now the first thing we have to do now is to get our lap measurements on the crotch line, and the lap measurement we are working with is 24. So that 24, you divide it by 2, it gives us 12. So on this crotch line we measure 12 inches. 12 inches, we mark it. We mark 12 inches. So on these 12 inches, we divide the 12 inches by 2. It gives us 6. So we mark 6 inches here. So this is going to be the center of our trouser now. So we mark the same 6 inches here. We do the same thing down here, 6 inches. Then we connect it with a straight ruler. So the essence of doing this is that we first of all want to draw out our basic trouser measurement before we now use it to form a palazzo. So the next thing we have to do now is to get our waist measurements. To get our waist measurements, the first thing we do is to come in by 1. We come in by 1, then we divide our waist measurement. The waist measurement we are working with is 30. We divide it by 4. It gives us 7.5. So we measure 7.5 here. 7.5. Then we get 2 inches as our seam allowance. So the 2 inches, one is for seam allowance, one is for that. So the next thing we have to do is to measure our hip. The hip we are working with is 38. We divide it by 4. It gives us a 9.5. So we measure 9.5 here. 9.5. Then 1 inch as our seam allowance. So the next thing we have to do is to measure our knee circumference. The knee circumference we are working with is 17. So that 17, we divide it by 4. It gives us if you divide 17 by 4, it gives us 4/4. So on this knee line, you measure 4/4 to this side, 4/4 to this side, 4/4. 4/4. So on the ankle, on the ankle line, you measure your ankle. The ankle circumference we are working with is 12. We divide it by 4. It gives us a 3. So on this line, you measure 3 to the left, 3 to the right. Then we begin to connect it together. So by using our French cuff. So let's first of all, connect the crotch. We connect the hip to the lap measurement. Then connect to the waist. Just blend it. I think you are seeing it. Yes. So the next thing is for us to connect this. We can use our cuff, or you use your straight ruler. So we just connect the ankle to the knee. Then we connect from knee to the hip. Then we do the same thing here. Let me use my cuff to connect this. Yes, this is our basic. Then we connect this 1 inch. We connect it to the hip. Then here we come down by 1 inch. Then you connect it. Use your pattern master. You connect it to from the side, connect to the center front. Fine. So this is the basic pattern, front pattern for the trouser. So the next thing is for us to get our palazzo trouser now from this. So it's like you are learning 2-in-1 in this project. If you are going for normal trouser, you are good to go with this. You just cut it out just this way. But for the palazzo, all we need to do is to come to the down part of our trouser. So you come to this side by 3 or 2.5, then do the same to this side. It depends on how wide you want your palazzo to be at the down part there. So let me just come to this side with a 2.5. I do the same thing here. I come to this side with a 2.5. So then I connect straight to this end. I connect straight to the hip with my straight ruler. So from your hip, you connect straight to this coming out by 2.5. So I do the same thing here. I connect straight from the crotch to the down part. So here we have our palazzo now. So as we want to cut now, this is what we are going to cut out. So just watch as I cut now. So it is later I will be cutting out this 1 inch that will come down after we might have cut out the back, after drafting out the back cut. So this is it. So this is the one we are going to place on the back cut now. We're going to cut out the back. Now we want to draft out the back cut of our palazzo trouser. So the first thing we have to do is to extend the measurement with 1 inch at the upper part of the back. So you just mark 1 inch up here. That is, when you use the fabric length of 43 for the front, you are going to use the length 44 for the back. So I don't want you to get confused. That's why I've not cut out this 1 inch. So I will later cut out 1 inch in the front cut. So all you have to bear in mind is that for the front cut, you are going to shape the waist. You are going to come down by 1 to shape the front cut of the front waist. But for the back, plus the original measurement, you are going to come up by 1 for the back cut. So the back is higher by 1, the front is lower by 1. So here now, the 1 inch you come in with for the front cut, you are going to return it 1 inch. Return that 1 inch. So that 1 inch you return. You now, from here, you connect to that 1 inch. Then you connect it back to your hip. So that 1 inch that you come out with for the back now will serve as a dart for the back. So and for the front cut, the dart that we added, for this 2 inches, we say 1 inch for the seam allowance and 1 inch for the dart. So for the dart for the front is optional. You might choose to put that in your front cut, you might choose not to. So the front dart is not mandatory. So for this tutorial, I'm not going to be adding that for the front cut, so I'm going to reduce this seam allowance by 1, which I will later cut out. So 1 inch is used as my seam allowance, just 1 inch. So I just connect it back to this crotch line. So I'll just cut it out now. So which means our back is stopping here now. So because the dart back has been inclusive by this side. So the next thing we have to do now is to extend this crotch area with 2 inches. You can use 1.5. So let me just use 2 inches. So I'll just draw a straight line to meet this 2 inches. Then I use my French cuff to connect from here now. I connect to meet this. Just this way. Yes. So the next thing I will do is that on the knee line, I just come out with 1 inch. For the down part, I come out with half an inch. I just add half an inch. So I just use my leg cuff to connect. Just this way. From main length, I just connect to my ankle, just like so. This side remain the same. So the next thing is for me to cut it out now. So this is our front cut now. Back cut. So let me trim out the 1 inch that will come down for the front cut. So the next thing is to cut out the 1 inch that will came down the front cut now to shape the front cut. Yes, so this is the front cut of our palazzo. This is the back cut. So the next thing when you want to join it is that you just this is the back cut now. You just place the back cut this way. You take one back cut, one front cut. This is the right side of the back cut. So you place the right side on the right side. This is the front cut. So you take one front cut, then one back cut. You place the front, let the front face the right side, let the right side face the right side. Then you join. You first of all join it by the side. Start from down part. Join with a half an inch. You join with half an inch. If you want to put your pocket, you leave like a 6.5 up here to insert your pocket. You do the same thing by this side. Having done that, you now join the crotch side. You join it start from down part with a half an inch as well. Do the same thing to this one too. Then thereafter, you now join the center front. You hold it, join it with half an inch. You join it through the crotch area to the back. So you hold your darts just for the back cut. Just place your fabric this way, fold it into two at the waist area, notch it. So that's where you hold your dart of 1 inch. You hold it half, then you sew down to like 4.5 inches. Do the same thing to the second back. So for the front, no darts. So then thereafter, you now cut out your band and fix your band, and your beautiful palazzo trouser will be ready.